There is power in our testimony. The testimony of our mouth have the ability to overcome the works of darkness in our. In 2 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 4. 2 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse number 4. He said, the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but they are mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. The verse number 5, he said, casting down the imagination. Casting down every imagination and every high thing that rises itself against the knowledge of God in our life. So our testimony is oppose every rise force against our life. Casting imagination and every high thing that rises against the knowledge of God in our life. Do you know what the knowledge of God says? The knowledge of God is compels us to prosper. In 3 John chapter 1 and verse 2, I wish above all things that thou may prosper and be in health. That is the knowledge of God. The knowledge of God wishes you prosperous. The knowledge of God wishes you expansion. I wish above all things that thou may prosper and be in health. Zechariah chapter 1 and verse 17. He said, cry ye unto it. Say, my people, not his people, my people. Through prosperity, the kingdom spread. The kingdom spread by the prosperity of his people. So God's knowledge is to prosper the church. God's knowledge is prosper your business. In the book of Psalm 35 and verse 27, he said, cry ye, say, let them be glad, let them rejoice and be glad, let them shout for joy and favor my righteous cause. For the Lord thy God have pleasure in the prosperity of his people. God have pleasure in the prosperity of the church. God have pleasure in your lifting. So anything that vow you will not prosper is enemy of God. It is against God's will and God's agenda, and that we need to testify against. Stretch your two hands for me. Let me prophesy. Anything that contend with your business from today henceforth, anything that say you will not sell, you will not prosper, you will not sell, you will not pay your base, you will live hand to mouth. As your hands stretch to the altar, I declare they are scattered. Did you say amen or meh? They are scattered. It is God's will for you to marry. It is God's will. Marriage is not a prayer point. Marriage is God's will for you to marry. Genesis chapter 2 and verse 4, 24, I beg your pardon. For this purpose man will leave the mother and the father, and the two shall cleave. He shall cleave unto his wife, and two shall become what? It shall become one flesh. 25 said they were both naked and they were not ashamed. So God's will for you to marry. Any marine covenant that say you will not marry, you will not prosper, you will not excel. Today I'm here to enforce God's will. If your amen is louder, receive your wedding in the name of Jesus. I said receive your testimony in the name of Jesus. Receive your blessing in the name of Jesus. Receive your marital blessing in the name of Jesus. God's redemptive plan to multiply the earth is through marriage. That you will bring forth produce according to after your kind. And God have that achieved in the marriage. So anything that contend with your marriage is enemy. Anything that fight against your marriage is enemy. And it is God's will to fight it. The Bible compels us to live in health. It is God's will to live in health. In Jeremiah 30 verse 17. Jeremiah 30 verse 17 says, I restore to you health. Health is not a prayer point, it's a birthright of a believer. To live in health. And I will heal your wounds. Jeremiah 30 verse 17. I will restore to you health and I will heal your wounds. And because they call you outcast, they say Zion whom no man seeketh after. So God has prepared health for you. In Isaiah 54 verse 17, he said, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. And every tongue that rise against you in judgment, you will condemn it. That's where testimony comes in. In judgment, you will condemn it. No weapon shall form or fast against you shall prosper. And if in judgment you condemn, he said, this is the inheritance of the servant of God. It is our inheritance to live in good health. It is our inheritance to live in a healthy life. Every sickness in your body, I prophesy over 18 of you. Jesus said, whatsoever that's not planted by my Father in my life shall be uprooted of. I don't care to know the doctor report. In your blood, in your tissue, in your marrows, I declare over your life every sickness in your body, in your spirit, in your finances, in your destiny. I command it to be destroyed in the name of Jesus. I command it to be destroyed in the name of Jesus. I command it to be destroyed in the name of Jesus.